What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here, and I don't want to say it because I've been saying this a lot recently, and every once in a while there's somebody that calls me out on it. But I'm gonna say the line. I was scrolling through Twitter, which it seems to be my catchphrase now, and I actually had this video from Travis Gafford come up, and I thought it would make a great idea for a video because I think it is so interesting and brings up so many different talking points that I've actually talked about a lot in the past. I've made videos similar to this one in the past, but now a new face, a new story, a new possibility, and honestly this might be the most realistic opportunity yet. As you can see on the screen, Travis Gafford tweeted out this clip. I'm also known as a little bit of a Travis Gafford react channel, so this like fits all the memes. He said, as part of today's big interview with Spica, he talked about his dream to one day compete in the LPL, and I've always thought it was fascinating to find out what a player from NA or even a player from the West, how they would do out east in the regular season, under the management, under the coaching staff, all of that. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much, and subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. We're on that road to 10K. We've been getting so much love, so much support, everybody trying to help out, everybody helping me reach my goals, and really helping this whole channel and community grow. It's so cool to see what we've been able to do, and hopefully we can keep it going. With that being said, let's get right into this. So first, we're going to let Spica talk, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my thoughts and opinions surrounding this issue. But pretty crazy, pretty interesting. Here's what he had to say.
I hope to just play as long as possible, maybe playing LPL one day. I think that's like my biggest dream probably.
To play in LPL?
Yep.
So, obviously, just drops a bomb right at the beginning of the clip. He says that he wants to play in LPL someday. That is his dream. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One, I'm sure he just thinks it's the pinnacle of competition. I'm sure he thinks he is a very capable and very good player. Also, we know that he does speak Mandarin. And a big thing here that I don't know if everyone knows this, but as you can see here, Spica was actually born in China as well. So, he has been in NA for a while now. He is a North American resident, but he was actually born in China, so he has some roots there. He I'm sure wants to go there for a ton of different reasons to prove to himself he can do it, to be one of the first ever Western players to go and do something like this, and to maybe even be successful doing it, and just feel like he's achieved everything there is to do in the League of Legends world, because it just seems like there's more opportunity out there. But this was really cool, and I actually like hearing somebody say this, and I actually think this is pretty realistic because he's still young enough, still has a bright enough future ahead of him, still has enough of his career and like the peak of his career ahead of him to where this could actually work out. But this does make things pretty interesting.
Maybe something, because I speak Mandarin fluently, right?
Yes.
So if the NA thing doesn't work well, I will go to LPL like Shadow and try to achieve something, I guess. That's
also another really great point. We just saw Shadow bounce around a little bit, taking a stop in Mad Lions for a little while and then heading back to the LPL. So we know that players can move between these leagues and even do pretty well in both the LEC and the LPL. It's kind of being more and more realistic, more and more possible.
That is crazy. I mean, just because I feel like, a lot of people don't consider that. Do you have like a timeline on when are you like, oh yeah, that's question. Like later on in my career, like 3 or 4 years if I can't? I don't know if you're...
Because that's a tough thing. You can't do it too late in your career. You can't wait until you're washed up, till you're past your prime, because you're not going to go from the LCS to the LPL if it's anything except your absolute prime. They're not going to take you on the way down. The LPL is not the retirement home. You don't get to leave the retirement home and go to like the Golden Palace and be in your peak and prime and everything. So, you can't wait too long. You can't go too soon because you got to be ready for it. It's kind of hard to time up, and it's also very scary and a big risk, and I think that's why people have kind of shied away from it in the past.
You're like, I'm giving NA and LCS enough time to see if they could do it, and then if not, then
I mean, definitely. I was listening to Peter talking. He was like, he retired because he felt like NA had no chance, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I play for multiple seasons, and then you're like, holy shit, we get shit on at Worlds every year. Maybe I'll just move to LPL and see, just to prove to myself, seeing how good I actually am, because I definitely think playing the Asian regions definitely, elevate your personal skill as well. So it's just for self-confidence and see how good I am, pretty much.
Yeah, so I thought this was so interesting. One, I've said this with other players in the past. I really hope he does try this at some point in his career. I'm not exactly sure how TSM feels about a player saying this, that he's thinking about leaving them at some point in the future and stuff. And maybe this makes TSM, rethink some things. Maybe TSM needs to start looking for a replacement sooner rather than later. Who knows? I don't know if that's actually, like a bad thing to say while you're under contract or not. But either way, I do think it's interesting because there have been some players in the past that have had this opportunity. I'm thinking Doublelift. There's always been rumors that he had Korean, that he had Chinese offers, that he could have made that kind of risk. He could have taken that leap and went over to the East. And how would that have gone? Would it have changed Doublelift's career? Would he have been better playing with better teammates, playing better solo queue, having better coaching staff, better management, all that stuff? Would that have turned Doublelift into one of the all-time greats? Or would he still have been a guy that in the big games, in the big moments, whatever, just wouldn't have been good enough? Who knows? It could have been something totally different. We also know that guys like Caps have gotten these big offers. We know that Perks in this most recent offseason got these offers from Chinese and Korean teams. We know that Western players, both European and North American players, have actually had opportunities. There are Korean and Chinese players, coaches, managers, teams, owners, whatever, that respect the players enough to actually offer them spots, to think that they could help them perform, that they could make their team better, especially now the LPL has 17, 18, 19 teams, some crazy amount of teams. There are a ton of opportunities. I think this is a really cool, really awesome idea. I love these different things happening because throughout history we haven't seen a lot of these moves made. There's been a ton of what if scenarios, a ton of what could have been. How would it have gone? Would it have gone good, bad? Who knows? And now all of a sudden we have Dardoch maybe talking about going over to Europe, and we don't see a lot of North American players try making it over in Europe. And we have Spica talking about maybe going to the LPL, and we haven't really seen people try that. And I think it just gets really interesting. I think it gets really cool. I think it gets really crazy, and I think it makes for an awesome discussion because right now, LCS version of Spica, could he go over and dominate in the LPL? Probably not. There's probably a lot of junglers better than him. I think Spica did pretty well at Worlds last year. I think he was the best performing TSM member, and I think Spica is very good. He's very skilled mechanically. I think he can be awesome, and if you put him around the best players in the world, and he got to compete with them and train with them and practice with them and learn from them every single day in the brilliant minds and that awesome solo queue and the awesome environments, I really think that he could take it to another level. I think he is a player who is talented enough individually and skilled enough individually that in the right situation, the right scenario, I think he could be successful. I'm not saying that he would win world championships. I'm not saying that he would win LPL titles, but I'm sure there's some people that are going to be like, okay, an NA player could never make it over there. But I really think that there are some players. I think NA teams have sucked internationally and have been disappointing and have been choke artists and blah, 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 blah. Yes, and I honestly think a large part of that is due to our coaching staff and management and everything. I think not a ton of our players, but some of our players are good. Just because our teams haven't been great, that doesn't mean we haven't had good individual players who here and there could play at these type of levels. They just haven't been able to do it consistently, and they haven't had the competition and competitiveness and everything around them to be able to develop into something consistent like that. But man, this would be so cool. This would be so interesting. But also, Spica's kind of like the franchise player for TSM right now. He's kind of the guy they're building around for the future. So if Spica does decide to leave in the next year, 2, 3, what's TSM going to do? Are they going to spend that FTX money on a big name? Are they going to develop another North American player? Who knows? But man, this story just has so many things to talk about. I thought it was so interesting. Definitely wanted to make a video. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this. I'd appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Do you think Spica should go to the LPL? Do you think he would do well in the LPL? Do you think he should stay in the LCS? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all the latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.